bumper stickers that said, God is my co-pilot. And I've heard it said, if God is your co-pilot, you need to change seats. The wrong person is in control. And it would be a wonderful blessing for all of us if we would turn the controls of our life over to the Lord and let Him take control and guide our life. It certainly would. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. If you have a Bible with you, I'd like to read with me. These are some familiar words. Ecclesiastes is one of my favorite Bible books. A lot of practical wisdom here. A lot of very familiar sayings that we hear constantly, and I'm going to read one of those. Solomon, and the title to my message tonight is Reflections and Revelations. Reflections and Revelations. It is believed that Solomon is the author of this book, inspired by God, of course. It is believed also that Solomon is responsible for the book of Proverbs, the book of the Song of Solomon. And the Song of Solomon was most likely written when Solomon was a young man. Proverbs in his midlife, and Ecclesiastes in his old age. And Solomon begins here in the 12th chapter of Ecclesiastes by saying, Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of a bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way. And the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail. Because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel be broken at the cistern. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. That's reading through the 7th verse. Let's take a sort of an unscientific scientific experiment tonight. How many of you were saved before you were 20 years old? Let me see your hand. Everybody take notice. How many of you were saved before you were 20? I'm in that group too. Okay? The biggest portion of us tonight were saved before we were 20 years old. How many of you were saved before you reached 30? Okay? That's a pretty good group. How many of you just voted twice? No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to mess up my scientific survey here. How many of you were saved before you reached 40? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 hands. Okay. Before you reached the age of 40, you remember age? Okay. How old were you, Amy, when you were saved? You was 12. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You were saved before you reached 20, right?
That is the correct answer, yeah.
Yeah, that is the correct answer. She answered it correctly. How many of you, let me ask the question this way. How many of you were saved between 30 years of age and 40 years of age? Let me see your hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay. How many of you were saved between 40 and 50? 1, 2. I got Brother James. How many of you were saved between 50 and 60? 1. Okay. How many of you were saved after the age of 60? 1. Okay. Anyone in here saved after the age of 70? All right. I remember Brother Pastor Lynn lived most of his life living a Christian life and realizing late in life that he was still alive. I believe he was more than 70 years old when he ultimately got saved, and did, praise the Lord. I had the privilege of baptizing Brother Pascal Bond as a member of this church, and he died shortly after that. Solomon begins with a very common sense reflection when he says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth." We know the story of Solomon. Solomon was the son of David. He was the heir to the throne of Israel. He was the product of an ill-devised marriage. David and Bathsheba committed adultery, and the first child that they had died. And we don't understand the ways of God. We certainly do not. David and Bathsheba both suffered because of that sin. And Israel suffered because of that sin as well. They went on together, married, and they had another child, Solomon. And God blessed David and Bathsheba both. David had some repenting to do. David had lost the joy of his salvation. And he prayed earnestly. And I believe he prayed likely a long time before he ever found the peace and the joy of his salvation. He did receive that, I believe. Solomon was David's son. He ultimately became king. And God appeared to Solomon in a dream, in a vision, and he told Solomon that whatever request that he wanted, that God would grant him that request. And you know the story. Solomon said, "Lord, that you would give me wisdom, that I would be able to judge this great people." And that request pleased God. And God granted the request, and he told him, he said, "I'm going to give you wisdom, and you're going to be wiser than any man that has ever been before you, and wiser than any man that has ever come after you." And if we take the Word of God quite literally, then we understand that Solomon was the wisest man to ever live. Now that does not imply either that Solomon didn't do some incredibly dumb things in his time. He did. Number one, Solomon's heart was turned away from God in his life by women. His affection for women and his methods of securing his throne, his heart was turned away from God, and he worshipped idols throughout many of the years of his life. And I know what you're thinking, and I'm thinking the same thing. How can this man be so wise and do something so incredibly stupid? But wise men do dumb things sometimes. And he did. What we're reading here tonight is the reflections of this man toward the end of his life. And as our little scientific or unscientific survey demonstrated tonight, the vast majority of you that are saved were saved before you reached 20 years of age. I was 19. I just got in under the wire there. But as we grow older, the number of people getting saved greatly diminishes. And Solomon saw that. He observed that in his life. And what we're reading about in the book of Ecclesiastes are the observations And then finally, the reflections on what Solomon saw in his time. God gave Solomon wisdom, incredible wisdom. And God told Solomon, because your request pleases me, I'm going to make you rich as well. And he was. He was rich beyond measure. We read in the Bible where the Scripture says that silver was as nothing in the days of Solomon's reign. Silver was like nothing. It lost its value. There was so much of it in the land of Israel in the days of Solomon. It didn't mean anything to people. And we can imagine that gold was flowing quite profusely as well, because people were coming from all over the world to see the wisdom of Solomon. Because he was given such incredible wisdom that people came to just listen to the words that he spake. Solomon was an incredibly intelligent man. He was educated beyond measure. Because of his station in life, he had every privilege imaginable, and God put this man in that circumstance to experience all of these things. And I suppose in some way even beyond our understanding, Solomon had these experiences with all of these wives and concubines. 700 wives and 300 concubines. 1,000 relationships. Solomon wasn't wise, but those women certainly weren't wise either. You know, who in the world would want to be part of the harem? 700 women. Just one, and then Solomon reflects, he said, a good man is 1 in 1,000. But he said, one woman in 1,000, I can't find. Solomon was in a very sad circle of relationships. It was a very sad reflection in what he saw in his time. I'm glad to say that I can't say that. I know a lot of good men, and I know a lot of good godly women. Praise the Lord. They're there. Solomon was reflecting on his own life and his own life's experiences. Solomon said that he built great buildings and planted incredible gardens. Solomon was in a unique position because God put him there to experience everything in life that most everybody else in life could only dream of, and most of us do. What would it be like to be incredibly wealthy? What would it be like to be incredibly popular? What would it be like to be in control, to be in charge? If I was in charge, what would I do? Solomon was there. Solomon had all of these life's experiences, and in the end of them all, you know the saying in the book, everybody knows it. Even people who are not Christians, not Bible believers, knows the saying. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. And Solomon was talking about everything that was done under the sun. In his old age, he comes to the end of the book, by the way, and he said, let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. And what is it? Fear God and keep His commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. For God is going to bring every work into judgment and every secret thing. Every single one of us is going to stand before God in judgment and give an account for our life here. And Solomon comes to the conclusion, listen, he says, there's nothing better than that a man should live and eat and drink and enjoy all the fruits of his labors, because he said, this is the gift of God. But he said, you need to know this, that for all these things, God is going to bring you into judgment. And so he says that we should remember our Creator in the days of our youth. Some things you learn by experience, and Solomon begins to reflect upon the golden years, the time of our life when we begin to grow older. That's what he's talking about here when he says the windows are darkened. You got to wear these to be able to see. He said the grinders are few. You begin to lose your teeth. He said the almond tree flourishes, and you have to live in the Middle East in order to understand what he's saying. The almond tree turns white before it bears fruit, and your hair begins to turn gray, or for some of you begins to turn loose. Sleep escapes you at night. The chirping of the bird or the grasshopper becomes a burden. You can't sleep at night. You pace the floor. All of these things come into your life. And, Solomon didn't have any idea of Grecian formula or Miss Clairol. They didn't have hair color in his day. Solomon didn't know anything about dentures, and he didn't know anything about glasses, and he didn't know anything about hearing aids. When it was gone in Solomon's day. But there's nothing much golden about glasses, is there? Or contact lenses, or hearing aids, or walkers, or any of those things. Solomon reflects on a lifetime of experience. And he challenges all of us to remember our Creator in the days of our youth, while the evil days come not, or the years come when we begin to say we have no pleasure in them. For those of us who have achieved substantial years in our life, it's important for us to remember what Solomon is saying here about people remembering God while they're young. Some of you were saved up in years, and isn't it wonderful to know that God still can? Amen. God still can. Jim Augustine, I believe he was 65 years old, sitting right here on this church pew when he got saved. You know, and it's amazing, you know, God's grace, His power is sufficient. His grace, unbelievable. Mercy enduring forever. You know, and that's Jim's only hope, isn't it? That he's ready to meet the Lord. He wasn't a young man when he got saved. Some of you were not either. And that's something that ought to weigh heavily on our hearts. If we have friends and loved ones and family members up in years and still lost and without God, how much effort do we need to put forth to see that they hear the gospel, that they might be saved before it's too late? Not only that, but to remember too that, you know, if we hope to reach the most people in this life, it's going to be while they're young. You know, our youth ministry is so vital to the welfare of our church. It's not that we're neglecting the old, but, you know, our efforts are concentrated on the youth because that's where you see your greatest success. And in reaching those young people, there's no telling how many older people, how many parents, how many grandparents are coming to church here at HMBC because the kids are coming here. Amen. So there are a lot of different ways of looking at this. James tells us, you know, that our life is just a vapor that appears for a short time and then vanishes away. Solomon had the privilege of enjoying all of the blessings and benefits of life. You know, and he tells us that this is a gift from God to be able to eat and drink and to enjoy the fruits of our labors while we're here. Enjoy all the blessings of this present time. And God has created this world for our benefit. But folks, we have to know that so many people, and I'm guessing that most of the people who come into this world won't be able to enjoy the wonderful blessings of life that you and I enjoy here today. They come into the world in poverty. They're hungry. Many are homeless. They suffer all kinds of disease and violence and warfare everywhere, which ought to heighten our concern for a lost world that is living beyond the blessing and privilege that you and I have to sit here in this wonderful place and hear the gospel. It ought to increase our burden to be more mission-minded. We're so blessed beyond measure. But folks, you know, the time that we spend here, I don't know how old Solomon was when he died. He was up in years when he wrote these words, reflections of an old man. But he comes to the conclusion that everything down here, everything under the sun, is vanity and vexation of spirit. All of the things that we seek after here. And Jesus tells us that God in heaven knows that we have need of these things. And he tells us, Jesus did in his own words, to seek first the kingdom of God, and all of these other things will be added to you. And he said it's your Father's good pleasure to give you these things, just like he gave them to Solomon. And so many people won't enjoy the wonderful blessings and privileges that you and I do. But I think about the Apostle John in his old age. And Solomon is writing about the reflections of his life. John in his old age was sitting on the Isle of Patmos in the Spirit and on the Lord's day, having lived most of his life living for God and even suffering for God. Tradition says he was boiled in oil. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I'm certain that John endured persecution, if only for that moment when he was arrested for preaching the gospel and banished to this rocky, deserted island for his faith in God, and sitting there on that island. He wasn't brokenhearted, and he wasn't down and out, he wasn't defeated. He was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and he said he heard a voice that said, "I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore." You know, John had lived his life, but here in the very end of his life, the Lord comes to him with this marvelous revelation. He said, "I want you to write these things, John, and I want you to send them to the 7 churches of Asia." The Lord knew that we were going to need this message to encourage us onward. Listen, life here is hard, it's difficult, and under the best of circumstances, it's filled with trials and tribulations of every kind. You and I enjoy the best of the best here in this present time, but even saying that is still difficult, isn't it? The Lord came to John, and John said, "I turned to see this voice that talked to me." He said he saw a vision of Christ glorified, eyes as a flame of fire. And he said as bright and shine as the noonday sun. After that, he said he heard a voice from heaven. He said the door was opened to him in heaven, and the voice said, "Come up hither, John, and I will show you things that must be hereafter." And John began to see this wonderful revelation of God, a revelation about the future of this world, but praise the Lord, a revelation beyond this world. John said he saw a new heaven and a new earth because the first one had passed away. In the 22nd chapter of Revelation, he said he saw a clear crystal river of water of life flowing freely from the throne of God, flowing out into heaven's domain. He said there was a street there, and they said that the tree of life was planted by that beautiful river, and it said it bore all kinds of fruit in its season, and the leaves were for the healing of the nations. And the Scripture tells us there, "Blessed are they that keep the commandments, keep the sayings of our God, that they may have right to the tree of life, that they may enter in through the gates of that city." What a great blessing we have to know tonight that we've been saved by His marvelous grace. To know that there's a door, folks, that's going to get us out of here. You know, Jacob in the Old Testament, when he was fleeing from his brother Esau, fled into the wilderness, and he stopped at a place that he named Bethel, a name that means the gateway to heaven, the house of God, he said. And he saw a vision there as he dreamed, a ladder that extended from earth to heaven, angels of God ascending and descending upon it. John said he saw a door in heaven. There's a way out of here for all of us. You know, and it's not going to be very long. Our life here is such a short space of time. And our life here is just like that vapor that appears for just a few moments and then vanishes away. You know, we can endure the trials that we experience here for the honor and glory of God. We can do those things. And John saw this beautiful vision of heaven waiting for us. And the invitation from God saying, "Come up here, and I will show you things that must shortly come to pass." Wow, what John saw. It's not going to be long. And I remember as a young boy growing up, I couldn't wait to be a teenager. And I couldn't wait to be 16. And I couldn't wait to be 18. And then I couldn't wait to be 21. Dad said, "Don't wish your life away, son. When you get older, you have to wait because you can't hurry anymore." But our life passes so quickly here. And heaven's waiting. Heaven's waiting. I was saved as a young boy, you know, and most people get saved while they're young. We have a church house full of young children that need to know the Lord. And they're depending on a church that's on fire for God. We have older people in their 30s, people in their 40s, in their 50s, 60s, 70s, no doubt, that still need to be saved. And we saw the small number of hands that were raised just a few moments ago, how few they are. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I think Jim Augustine, I think James Webb, Jane Crawford, some of you that raised your hand, you were saved later in life. It's encouragement to us that we can win these precious souls through the preaching of the gospel. Solomon was reflecting on a life that was coming to a close, and all the tragic trials and difficulties and vanities and vexations that come along with it. Praise the Lord, there's something better waiting for us when this life is over. God's Word reveals that to us. It's waiting for our friends and loved ones who are still lost. We have the responsibility tonight and tomorrow and the rest of our life to be a witness to them and for them that Jesus Christ is Lord. That salvation through Christ is the only hope that they have. We need revival. I said this morning, we all need to be closer to God than we are. I need to be closer to God than I am. Let's pray together that the Lord will help us to draw nearer to God. That we can see the glory of God, and that the world will see the glory of God in us. They'll see the effect of our walk with God. And they'll want to have what we have in the Lord. It's the only hope that they have. Larry, you got a song ready? If you come. We want to extend an invitation tonight. I don't know if there's anybody here tonight that's not been saved. The Lord, while He was here, He came here to earth, gave His life as a ransom for our sins, that we could have the hope of eternal life. Praise the Lord. Through faith in Him, we can be saved. He built a church while He was here. A wonderful place for us to live together in fellowship, in harmony with Him, and to work and to fulfill our calling in the Lord. If you've never joined the church, if you've never followed the Lord in baptism, if you've been saved, you need to do that. You need to belong to the church. You need to find a place in the Lord's work and work. Solomon said, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do it with all your might. Because there is no device, no knowledge, no wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest, and we're all headed there. And we only have just a short time. While we stand together, sing the verse.